Shalom, shalom, Israel. It's your brother Rajai coming at you again, always being led by the Spirit, bringing you the words of the Most High through these scriptures in truth and sincerity. I say shalom to you, giving all praise to our Heavenly Father Yahweh, and through His Son Yahweh Shai that we're able to receive this truth. Double honors and salutations to our elders and apostles over at Great Millstone. Teaches in this truth 144% of the doctrine, teaches in the same spirit of Yahweh Shai. Shalom to you, shalom to you, apostles and disciples that are teaching in the same spirit of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, doing the work and labors thereof, out in the highways and byways, risking your lives and freedom to do so, preaching in the word. I say shalom to you, and to you 1/3 of Israelites that are keeping the laws and commandments to your best ability. I say shalom to you, shalom, shalom. Always being led through the Spirit. I wanted to, continue to endure and push the word. Today, basically, always, like I said, being led through the Spirit. I wanted to bring out scriptures in Jeremiah 9, verse 20, in reference to, our women of Israel. All right, because I came across something on YouTube and kind of, put on my spirit to kind of, bring out, edification. So hopefully, through the hand of the Lord and, through the Spirit, that you're edified through this lesson today. So with that being said, I'm actually just gonna jump into the video. I got it all queued up, so I'm gonna play it in a little bit here, in a couple of seconds. But let the Spirit, just be led and come out, and bring edification on what's going on. It's evident what's going on with our women, but always bringing out scripture and laying before, laying before our Israelite women, what the Most High has said, and it's scriptural, so, it's not coming from my opinion or my, interpretation. It's coming directly from, the word of the Lord, so, we really have to take heed. But I wanted to bring this out, like I said, because this is what's going on, and the warning has to be pushed out, and the word has to be pushed, because the Most High is telling us, the Most High is telling us what's going on with our nation, the people, what our women are, doing, and the Lord's not looking, not looking too great on this matter, but like He said through the prophecy, He knew this was going to happen, so I'm not going to say too much more. I'm going to get into the video. Like I said, it's all queued up, so I'm going to just go ahead and play it, and then I'll bring out some scriptures. Shalakia. Well, it was queued up. It's queued up now.
What's your name? I don't know what you smoke, you drink, what's up? Let's kick it. I'm only in town for the night.
Shalakia. Started from the beginning.
I see you with your sweatpants on, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on.
Okay, Drake. What do you want?
Yeah, nah, for real, that's when you're pretty. Don't take that shit wrong. Get it in straight. Girl, my name's Gerald. What's your name?
Gerald, that's an old ass nigga name.
Damn, why you laughing at my name like that?
Oh, Gerald, you look young, but I'm Megan.
I'm trying to get your number. I done met a whole lot of girls in the city, but you might be the woman of my dreams. Will you come true?
Okay.
Shit, I know the show we can get some R&B and some rap, should come through.
When?
This weekend.
I am kid-free this weekend, and I did say I was looking for something to do.
Wow, she kid-free. She kid-free. Kid-free? Okay, alright. Well, can I get your number? Is that cool?
You gonna use it, Gerald?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it.
Alright.
Damn, you fine as hell, girl. I treat you like milk. Do nothing but spoil you. With your fine ass.
With your little flip ass.
For real, yeah, it's a little flip. I seen you from across the room. I gotta admit, you got my attention. Can I get your phone number, please? What's your name, anyway? What's your name?
What you talking about?
I don't know what you smoke, you drink, what's up? Let's kick it. I'm only in town for the night. get your phone number?
What you gonna do with it?
Shit, I'm gonna call you. We gonna kick it. You smoke, you drink. I'm a boss. You can do whatever you wanna do. Whatever you wanna do.
I need to do no more than smoke and drink.
Damn, what you wanna do? You wanna go? Where you wanna go? Put my number in your phone. Tell me where you wanna go. We go wherever you wanna go.
You gonna ask me nicely?
I did. I said please.
Please.
Damn, please. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Your fine ass. Shit. I'm only in town for the night. Yeah, lock me in real quick.
I'm talking what to do.
Damn, I ain't trying to tell you what to do. I'm gonna tell you lock me in. I'm just got it. Yeah, please. I said please. I already said please.
Don't call me, just text me.
Just text you. What, you got a boyfriend or something?
No, I'm not. I see your number, right?
Yeah, alright. Damn, what's up? I got my eyes on you. You everything that I see.
What's up? How are you?
For real, you be the cash, I'll be the rubber band. You be the match, I'll be the fuse.
That's cute.
Life without you will be like broken pencils. Pointless.
That's cute.
You
That's
like that?
different.
Yeah, can I get your phone number? I can get it?
I guess.
What's your phone number?
What's your name?
My name's Gerald. What's your name?
I'm Zeta.
Zeta. Put your number in here. Yeah, lock me in. I'm gonna lock you in. Alright, bet. I'm gonna hit you up. It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Alright.
What's motion on me?
Dang, you fine as hell, girl.
Thanks.
I like my girls BBW. Tight as like you trying to eat some lunch with you.
Do you hear this, man?
Can I get your phone number?
Oh my god, my phone broke.
Your phone, bro.
Yeah, you got it. Contact my watch.
Contact your watch. What's your watch phone number?
415.
Put it in there.
My hands is full.
What is it?
415. 244.
Alright, bet. My name's Gerald. What's your name?
Kira.
Kira. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Like my girls BBW. Tight as like you trying to eat some lunch with you. What's your name is? Wanda. Can I get your phone number, Wanda? Yeah, 415. Put it on my phone for me. Watch the motor, something, some crab legs, something. Alright, bet. Thank you, Nice meeting you. My name's Gerald. Yeah, Gerald. Alright. Damn, excuse me, miss. I don't know your name, but I seen you from across the room. I got to admit, you got my attention. Hell yeah, you got a man? It's complicated. Well, shit, you know, a lot like my next girlfriend then.
Okay, what's your name?
Bro, my name's Gerald. What's your name?
Nice to meet you, Gerald.
What's your name?
Serious?
Can I get your phone number here? Hell yeah. What up, bro?
I can hear right now.
Okay, right now. Alright, bet. Can I get a hug before you go? Shit, damn, hold up. Damn, you fine. Excuse me, baby. You fine as hell. Real. So you got a man? You ain't got no man? I'll go sit the hell with him anyway. Real. The seat's a seashell, and the whip is sea blue. So you should swim through.
Oh, you trying to take me to the water?
To the water? Nah, I ain't taking no water. I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs.
About like,
The beach? We can go to the beach. What's your name?
Yeah.
Rhea? Alright, I'm Gerald. Nice to meet you. Can I get your phone number?
All right. So basically, self-explanatory, like what's going on. But I wanted to pull out some scripture. So, you see, Eve and this generation, right, of Israelite women, especially the younger ones. They live carefree, right? And what I wanted to touch up on, through the spirit is that, how these women basically, will get up with anybody, as you see in the video, several different occasions, the women didn't have no problem giving a number. One of the women actually said she was in a relationship, but she said complicated, I believe, or whatever. And that just tells you the spirit of the, of our Israelite women that are out there. They're living for the moment, want to have fun. You just walk up to them and you kind of, there's no guidelines and morals as far as spiritually preserved. But basically, there's no virgins. So let me read the scripture for you before I, go on to get understanding. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 9, verse 20, and it reads, Slakia, I was looking over this really quick. And it reads, verse 20, Yet hear the word of the Lord, O ye women, and let your ear receive the word of his mouth, and teach your daughters wailing, and everyone her neighbor lamentation. All right. I'm going to read that in the Bible Hub. I still got it up. Because basically, what's that verse is saying is that, how the women are supposed to be shamefaced, and dressed in modest apparel, and you seen that video, right? You seen that video, how the women were dressed, showing off a lot of the body, just revealing, more revealing, and you can see why men, actually just come up to women like that, in that way, because they looking at them like a piece of meat. But that's how, you women, are now dressing, of this generation, So let me read this New International Version. Now, this is Jeremiah 9:20. Now you women, hear the word of the Lord. Open your ears to the words of his mouth. Teach your daughters how to wail. Teach one another a lament. Slakia. I was just scrolling down to see something really quick, right? So, getting back to the King James Version. So you see in the video, right, how the women were dressing. Basically, it didn't matter whether it was in a relationship or not. Just kind of, carefree, like I said, And, the Lord said this was how it was going to be, right, for our nation of women. And this is part of the curses and us going through what we had to go through, the punishment for not keeping the laws and commandments and disobeying the Lord, trespassing the Lord, the laws, right? So let me grab some precepts, right? This is 2 Timothy verses 5-7. So, when I was looking this up, I wanted, it goes into a little bit more, because these are very, deep verses, but I wanted to, bring that out as well. So let me go ahead and read 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 5-7, and it reads, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. For of this sort, they which creep into houses are led captive, silly women laden with sins, led away, and with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. So we know the scriptures are the truth. Through the Spirit, it testifies. Okay? And this is a book of prophecy. The things in here, the Most High said that were going to happen to our nation of people, the curses, which is in Deuteronomy 28, right? From 15 on down. And all these things have came to pass upon our people. So we see our nation of people, following this wickedness and being on the bottom of society and everything that, we do as a people, right? And then on top of that, putting our oppressor, which is Esau, your so-called white man, putting our oppressors, above, the Lord, and believing in them, in their society, and the way they run things, and not knowing our heavenly power, our Father, and going about, all this lewdness and wickedness. Okay, so I'm gonna read the verse again, from 2 Timothy 3, chapter 3, verse 5 through 7, and I want you to pay attention, because this is what's happening, and this is why, you see these things going on with our nation of women, right? Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Verse 6, for of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. All right, so you got, our nation of people, the two-thirds of you Israelites that are going out, and not hearkening to the voice of the Lord, which is these scriptures. So basically, you're living that American spirit. You're living in that American spirit here in Americas, right? In a land that was, in a land that's created for our captivity, that will be destroyed, though. At the end of the day, all these things in this nation, right, are going to be destroyed, and World War III is coming. So there's going to be a lot of destruction. There's going to be total destruction here in America. So the Lord is putting forth His word, right? He's putting forth the scriptures, have left it for the learning and understanding of our people to wake up in our captivity and come back to the Lord to serve Him, wholeheartally. All right. But within our nation of women, like I said, in the curses I read, the things that they were going to give into, the lust of this world, right? And so the women, you see, are not in order. Like I said, have a carefree spirit, not taking heed to what the Lord, commanded, for our women to be, right? 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9, another precept. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array, right? So basically not getting all decked out and dressed up, like women say, "Yo, I'm just looking cute." Basically, it's shamefaced, right? So in modest apparel, so that's basically, women, covering themselves up, not having, all these themselves exposed in that way, okay, and walking around in Americas, and under this, captivity, with proudness and carelessness, with no concern of, the line of heritage they came from, traditions, the culture, as an Israelite, and just keeping the laws and commandments. Because you got our women out here just running out, wanting to have a good time, And that's the American spirit, because Esau, this nation, has given, has turned everything upside down. So he's given, power to the women that basically rule over the men, right? And the vibration, that's going on here in this land, in this America, got our people, in darkness, right? So let me grab another precept. Verse 12. This is 1 Timothy 5, right? And this is verse 12. Having damnation because they have cast off their first faith. Verse 13. And withal they learn to be idle, wandering about house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers also, busybodies, speaking things which they ought not, right? So the conversations coming out of these, women's mouths, are really things that they should be speaking on, all right? I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to adversary to speak reproachfully, right? So, and women gonna have a really hard time, through the spirit, because they got that American spirit here that Esau, built up for this nation, right? They got the American spirit, which is opposite to the Most High, and a lot of the women say that they have a relationship with the Lord, and all these other things, but not through deeds, not through the works, because to prove your faith, you have to, to prove your faith, you have to go through certain things, right? And you have to be obedient. So the women are not, our nation of women, you 2/3, are not, following after the laws and commandments, and what the Lord has set over you, for you to do, which we can grab scripture on that, where the man is the head, right, is over the women, right, in righteousness though, because women get all offended when you say the man is over them, because they like Esau, the oppressor, which gives them this, illusionary power that, they kind of run wild with, because at the end of the day, the Lord is going to destroy this, He's going to destroy all this that Esau has set up, all right, and things are going to go back to the original way the Lord had created it to be. So it says, this is important, right? It says, I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully, right? So if we jump back to that video, I just want to pull up something really quick. You jump back to this video, right? And you see the women, the conversation of the women. Like I said, there was one. Yeah, so the women in here actually just basically, and this is like, how the 2/3 are, for our women. But these things are going on. So you would think, if a woman is taken or whatever, and she's with a man, right, that they say, okay, and it's telling, the scripture jumps back, it's saying that, women should, raise up the house with the children, and being subjected to their band, right? But we see here that this is, none of that's going on. You got the women out and about, doing their own thing, carefree spirit, and just, there's no order. There's no order. And, this is not, how the Lord created it. I'm going to jump over here. And this woman you see here, that you see on the screen, you know, towards the end, she's the one that was like, she's in a relationship, but it's complicated, you know. But that's what America here promotes. It promotes the wickedness, you know, everything against the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, you know. And so it's nothing in today's society, right, for this to really go on and it be, you know, not a problem. But once you come into the truth and you're knowing these are things you have to give up. You know, you gotta, you know, be born through the Spirit again, you know, and empty out all this wickedness of things, you know, you learned in society, right? That told you that this was okay. That told you that this was okay. That said that these things are you know, you can do these things, you know. You have to rebuke that. You know, it says to not be reproachful, right? You know, for our women, right? But this is just the edification to tell to let our women know that there's a certain way you have to, you know, you have to heed to. It says again, Jeremiah 9:20. No, this is 1 Timothy 5 verse 14. And it reads, I will therefore that the younger women, which that lady that we seen in there, she's of the younger generation, right? Bear children, you know, so if you have a family, you know, bear children. Bear children, guide the house, right? So raised up the kids, okay? Cooking and cleaning for the husband, you know, being a supporter of the husband, right? Give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully, so don't go out and do things contrary, you know, to what the commandments are. You know, so in that aspect, you know, our women, you know, you so-called Black, Native American, Seminole Indian, Hispanic, and Mexican, you Israelite women, you know, have to get in order. But we know that that's not going to happen for our nation of people, for our nation of women, you know, on this side. It's going to take that destruction of America, you know, to happen before our women actually, you know, get back in order, get back in line, or start, you know, fearing the Lord. Let me grab something real quick. You know, cause yeah, it's crazy. It's no order with our women. You know, you know, basically they go out and it's you know, do as I will. You know, but this truth, this you know, these scriptures. So I get this what I want to. So this is 1 Timothy verse 4 through 6. But if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show piety at home and requite their parents, for that is good and acceptable before God. So there's ways, you know, that you have to follow and have to live, you know, as an Israelite woman. Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate, trusteth in God and continueth the supplications and prayers night and day. So build your faith in your spirit with the Lord, you know, by following the commandments, right, and being prayerful. Okay. We can't see that in these women that we just looked at, but you can tell through the spirit and the fruits of the works, you know, whether they are out, you know, keeping the laws and commandments, right, or living that carefree life. You know, that Esau, you know, puts that facade. Verse 6, it says, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. So, point to the point is basically saying, you go out there, you have your fun, it's all good, but when that wrath of the Most High comes, He's not a respecter of persons. And if you're not keeping the laws and commandments, you haven't repented, and return back to the Lord, a lot of people are going to be put to death, right? Men, women, So there's going to be a lot of death in America, all right? And our people, have to get right, but starting with our women, they need to get in order. You Israelite women need to get in order according to the Most High, and this is what the Most High said, right? These are the scriptures being pulled out to what the Most High had ordained, for our women to be, and that's just the truth, And a lot of people don't really want to accept, what's being said in the Bible because, they got spirits on them, demons, and they're, comfortable. They're comfortable in this world with the way things are, because they believe that America is going to continue on, But, you got to take heed to these things. You got to take heed, and as an Israelite woman especially, that, there is a certain way you have to present yourself, So, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video. Let's see how much time we got. 33 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and, if anything, maybe, Lord willing, through the Spirit, do a part 2. I know this, I tried to make it edifying as possible. Hopefully that it was edifying, and through the Spirit. So, with that being said, I'm going to say shalom and keep growing in the faith. Shalom, Israel, shalom.